In the summer of 2015, I returned to my hometown after several years living abroad. Life had moved fast, big cities, endless workdays, noise that never truly stopped. But something inside me craved stillness. So when the opportunity came, I took it. I rented an old Victorian-era house on the edge of Tona property that had been in my family for generations. The kind of place with creaking floors, stained glass windows, and stories in its walls. The town hadn't changed much. Small grocery stores, a single diner where everyone knew your name, familiar faces who smiled politely but didn't ask questions. I told myself this was exactly what I needed to reconnect with my roots, to breathe again. For the first few weeks, everything felt perfect, peaceful, almost too peaceful. I took long walks through the nearby woods, caught up with old school friends, and spent evenings watching fireflies dance outside my porch. But the quiet didn't last. One night, as I was getting ready for bed, I heard it, a soft thump from upstairs. I paused. Maybe a bird on the roof, I thought. But then it came again, rhythmic, measured, like footsteps. I went up, flashlight in hand, but found nothing. Still, the sound continued, night after night, always after dark, always from the same part of the house. Eventually, it became impossible to ignore. Then came the whispers. They were faint at first, like wind moving through the cracks in the walls. But they began to take form words I couldn't quite make out, and every time I tried to focus, they stopped. The air would grow cold, my skin would prickle, and I'd find myself staring down the long hallway to the attic. I had avoided it. The attic. The door at the end of the hallway was always shut, slightly warped from time. I had no reason to go up there, or maybe I just didn't want one. Until the night the door creaked open on its own. I had been sitting on the porch, watching a summer storm roll in, when I heard it. A slow creak. I rushed upstairs. The attic door stood ajar, a draft of cold air curling out like breath. I hesitated, then stepped inside. Dust coated everything, furniture covered in old sheets, boxes stacked to the ceiling. The air smelled like time had stopped. But one thing stood out in the far corner, a tall, antique mirror framed in blackened wood. It was covered by a heavy, moth-eaten blanket. I pulled it off. The glass was thick with dust. I wiped it with my sleeve, revealing my reflection. And hers. She stood just behind me. A girl, no older than 12, with long dark hair and a faded dress. Her expression was strange. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. There was sorrow in them, deep, old. I spun around. Nothing. The attic was empty. I told myself I had imagined it some trick of the light. But when I looked back at the mirror, the girl was gone. Over the next several nights, she returned. Every time I stepped into the attic, she was there, always behind me in the mirror, never moving, never speaking, just watching. I started dreaming about her, waking in the middle of the night with her name on my lips. Clara. I didn't know how I knew it. I just did. I started digging. Through family records, old photos, boxes left behind in the attic. That's when I found her, Clara Dawson, daughter of my great-aunt Margaret. Born in 1932, disappeared in 1944. No one ever found out what happened to her. No obituary, no funeral, just vanished. The deeper I searched, the more restless the house became. The whispers grew louder. The footsteps followed me now, not just upstairs, but outside the bathroom behind me in the hallway. Once, I woke to find my bedroom window wide open. The air inside was ice cold. And on the glass, a single handprint, small, delicate. Clara was reaching out. One night, during a thunderstorm, I felt an undeniable pull to the attic. The stairs groaned under my weight as I climbed. The attic door was already open. Inside, the mirror pulsed with a strange glow, like it was alive. And Clara was standing outside the mirror, flesh and blood. Her dress clung to her like it was soaked. Her eyes were wide with fear. "They won't let me go," she said, voice trembling. "Please, you have to help me find my way home." I wanted to speak, to ask who wouldn't let her go, but I froze. Behind her, in the mirror, shadows stirred. Figures, dozens of them. Men, women, children, all watching, all waiting. Trapped. I remembered a story, something my grandmother used to say in hushed tones. That our family's old home was built on land, heavy with sorrow. That spirits clung to it like vines. And that sometimes, they chose one of us to speak through. I knew what I had to do. I gathered a few items. An old photo of Clara, a silver locket I had found in a jewelry box marked with her initials, and a candle. I returned to the attic and placed them before the mirror. The room darkened. The shadows writhed. The candle flickered wildly as I whispered the words I remembered from an old family journal. A ritual meant to free lost souls. Clara reached for me. The mirror blazed white. And then, silence. Clara smiled, peaceful for the first time. "Thank you," she said. Then she faded like mist in the morning light. I stood alone. The mirror now, just a mirror. No shadows, no whispers. I thought it was over. I hoped it was over. But 2 nights later, as I stood in the kitchen, I heard it. Not footsteps, not whispers. A knocking sound, slow, deliberate, coming from beneath the floorboards. I never knew the house had a basement,